Hey guys, this is Gilbert, JW Crisis. I just want to make a real quick video and talk about why does Watchtower use the word the new system, and it's very important. It's conspiracy theory, it's crazy, and you're going to think I'm a nut job. But before I tell you why, there's a lot of apostates everywhere, in every industry, whether it's religion, whether it's finance, politics, just name it. There are apostates. And the names change, but basically it's the same, right? You have the ruling class, and then you have the people who've been kicked out or on the outside, and they're pointing the finger and say, hey, they're corrupt, and they're lying to you. So in the past few months, I saw this about 6 months ago, more than that, but I've been hearing the phrase new system, and it's from the apostates in the finance world. You see, what happens is if you go into Fox or NBC and all these other shows, Yahoo, Finance, there's a lot of people, they're pundits, and they'll say, the stock went up because of this, and they all give their explanation, and they're all mimicking the same thing. But then you go on YouTube, and the apostates, the financial apostates, are out there, and they're yelling and screaming, saying, no, you guys are liars. This is the real truth. And then they'll give their reasons why they're calling out the mainstream media and everybody else a liar. The government, the finance, the banks, and so forth. So, one word that I've been hearing a lot right now within the apostates of the finance, world, is the new system. So you get people like Peter Schiff, Max Kaiser, and the guests, right? Max Kaiser's guest, Lynette Zhang, Gerald Salente, Greg Manarino, George Gammon, and tons of others. Just so many out there, and they're every once in a while, and more frequently, they're using the phrase the new system, and the new system is referring to the central bank digital currencies, which basically is the elimination of cash, the elimination of coin, and every dollar that you make, you borrow, you spend, will be tracked by a central authority, and they're already doing that in China. So if you want a loan in China, it doesn't matter whether you're creditworthy or not. What matters is if you're a good little slave, and if your credit score is big enough, and if you get your social credit score with China, and you're a good communist, well then guess what? You're going to get the loan. But if you're very creditworthy and you're a hard worker, but you like to criticize the government, well, no. You can't get a loan. And it's very important because in certain parts of China, you can't use coin or cash. Everything has to be done on your cell phone. And so it's one central location. So you have one world government, and what Watchtower preaches. Watchtower is preaching one world government. So when you go into the word, the new system, every Bible translation out there, if you go to BibleGateway.com and you type in that Matthew 24, you'll see that every Bible translation uses the word ages. But Watchtower decides to use the new, when is the new system going to come? Well, of course, because in their Bible, that they call their Bible, the New World Order translation, Watchtower is part of a new world order. And they're using New World Order language, lingo. And they're part of that club. And in that language is, when is the new system coming? So while Watchtower is telling you the truth of what they believe, they're talking about one thing and you're believing another. It's a classic bait and switch. And they're saying, this is how it's going to be. We're going to have a new one world government, and our God is going to lead us there, and we're going to have a new system. And it's true. That's what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to bring in a brand new system, which is global control of all governments and also all currencies. And that's why right now you hear all of the financial apostates talking about the imminent collapse of the US dollar, the euro dollar, and also the petrodollar, and how all the central banks, all the governments are just handing out checks, printing money like crazy. And what are they doing? They're buying real assets because they know that the money that they have right now will soon be worthless, because you're going to transition into a new system. And before you get to that new system, it's going to be one hell of a ride, and it will be a financial Armageddon. It will be Armageddon, but a financial Armageddon. Now, is it the real big Armageddon? I don't know. I'm not here to make predictions. But Watchtower uses that lingo because they're part of the New World Order. Now, it's very important. The phrase is kind of prophetic of George Carlin, the comedian, because everybody's using this phrase that he would say that it's one big giant club and you're not in it.
Because they own this fucking place. It's a big club and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
You're not in that club and I'm not in the club. But how do you know somebody's in the club? Well, they all have the same fingerprints. And Watchtower is part of the club of the New World Order. They have it in their Bible. But also, they are part of the Australian Royal Commission, a group of select people that have covered up child sex abuse and continue covering it up. They do not cooperate with authorities. And that's one item that they have in common with these New World Order globalist type. Also, the death, the sacrifice of human beings. YouTube is filled with all kinds of accounts of how Watchtower's teachings led to people's deaths. Also, their teachings on medical issues, and how they wrote articles and praising people for having given their life to keep in line with the Watchtower theology. And so that's another reason why we know Watchtower is part of this elite group. Because in order for you to be part of the New World Order and part of that class, you have to pay a price. And that price is human blood. And Watchtower has over and over again, and you can see it on YouTube, paid the price of human blood of its own members. They've let their own members die needlessly by suicide caused by shunning, right? The blood policy and others, and also because of the child molestation, right? Imagine how many people didn't get to tell their story because they killed themselves. So that's also how Watchtower is part of that club. And they can't help but tell you that they're part of the club. They put it in their Bible in the very front. It says, it says right there, the New World Translation. They're using the lingo, the new system. And also, for example, the satanic images in their literature. A normal organization will say, hey, yeah, that's a satanic image if I've ever saw one. And we found out who did it. We traced down and we fired such and such individual. Here's his name and so on. And if you see any more, let us know. We'll find him and we'll root him out. Watchtower doesn't do that. They keep him in. Why? Because it seems like the dirtier you are, the higher you get in this organization. The dirtier you are as a child molester, you become a member of the governing body like Leo Greenlees. So who's to say that all of the members of the governing body are not involved in some kind of real dirty rituals? And that's how they show their loyalty to their masters and say, hey, we want to be part of this new world. So I'm just saying, you're going to be seeing more and more of this. When you watch the news, especially if you go to the apostate news in any industry, whether it's finance and others, you'll start seeing a lot of people are using this phrase, the new system, which refers to the central bank digital currency, CBDC, which will be your new debit card, where the government will decide whether you borrow money, whether you get a monthly paycheck. It's so bad. It's so bad and so insidious that if you see a homeless person right now, you get a few dollars or you get coin out of your pocket and you give it to a homeless person. It's so bad that they're saying, no. We want to know that you gave it to a homeless person. And even the homeless person is going to need to have one of these cell phones with these cards because all transactions have to be centralized. Everything will be banned. You can't buy or you can't sell unless you have the central bank digital currency, which is the elimination of everything and consolidated into one central authority. And Watchtower is a member of that authority. Watchtower is a member of that group. Birds of a feather flock together. And everything Watchtower does, from abusing children to destroying families, to letting their children die needlessly in operating tables, shows that they're part of that group, an elite group. Now, call it Illuminati, call it a Mason, call it whatever. No, but they're, who knows? But they're part of that group, and they just love being part of that group. And you just have to leave. You have to leave with your, and be happy that you just have life when you leave. Jesus also talked about, from the abundance of a man's heart, his mouth speaks. You can tell a lot about a person from the words that come out of his mouth. And when Watchtower is using the phrase, the new system, pretty soon it'll be very transparent to you that Watchtower knew all along, even before 1945, when the United Nations was formed. They knew way back then that they were up to something, and they decided to be part of that system. And so listen to what Jesus says, and listen. Become a good listener. From the abundance of a person's mouth, their heart speaks. They say, well, Gilbert, you're speaking a lot of things and they're crazy. Okay, fine, I'm crazy. I'm a lunatic, I'm crazy, and I'm a conspiracy theorist. But I don't have no control over your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. Watchtower does, and that's why you're watching this video. So pay attention to what Watchtower is saying, and you'll see what's in their heart. When Watchtower is saying, don't eat from the bread and the wine, because Jesus says, eat from the bread and the wine. From the abundance of a person's heart, their mouth speaks. They're saying, don't eat. We can eat, but you never see them eating. They can eat, but you can't. And then you start finding out, whoa, this is a black mass. And you realize that black mass is something that the globalists also do. So the globalists and the devil worshippers have a black mass. And the people in the club that want to be part of the club have to be doing the exact same thing. You see, they're part of a club. You and I are not in it because we won't do the things that Watchtower does. We will not rape children. We will not lead people to suicide. We will not go to the hospitals and keep people from getting medical care. We won't do that, but they will. Because they have to do it to be part of the New World Order Club. You have to learn to be a good listener. And we weren't. And we weren't good listeners. And that's why we were in the cult as long as we were. But now that you are not part of the cult, you have to recognize, whether you believe in Jesus or not, that those words are true. Pay attention to how you listen. From the abundance of a person's heart, whether it's good or evil, their mouth speaks. Listen to those words. Because if you're a good listener, the days of your life will be extended. We have another good video coming, and we're going to talk about, my brother and I are going to talk about why the Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Halls are still closed. So that's all I have. Guys, if I'm a conspiracy theory, fine. Let it be. If anyone wants to buy this thing, I pulled it out of storage. Remember the old videos I did, Maria Frances Ackley? Let me know. I'm going to put it up for sale. Put it up for sale on Craigslist, or if you want it, let me know. And stay tuned for the next video. I think you're really going to like it. We're going to answer that question. Another conspiracy theory. Why are Kingdom Halls still closed?